this one was on my mind for a while. I've never used Cloud in the original release. He joined on level 1 in chapter 4, had no unlocks in terms of jobs and skills, and the main unique feature of his job, an ability to equip female-only accessories and headgear, wasn't exactly a big boon to me, since I haven't interacted with the poaching system at all. His skills seemed a bit weak, since I didn't know they were scaling only from his magical attack. All in all, he seemed like a cute gimmick and homage to Final Fantasy VII, and that's all. With the Ivalice Chronicles changes, and my newly acquired knowledge about game mechanics and access to more resources, I decided to try and build him in a way that his soldier job will be quite viable on the battlefield in the Tactician mode. I'm not going to lie, it took a lot of work to make him at least not useless in the party, but I'm quite happy with the result. Cloud joined my party at level 46, with a quite nice selection of skills and unlocked jobs. The most important one being Samurai, with the whole 8 levels, and Shirahadori already learned and equipped, starting with 70 bravery value that gives him a nice defensive ability from the get-go. And that's a big deal since Shirahadori works even when the character is charging a skill. He also starts now with movement +2 and concentration, and some martial arts skills learned, which makes a very competent loadout for a character that joins so late in the game. But let's take a closer look at his squire replacement job, Soldier. Modifiers and stat growth rates are quite bad. Movement tree is also nothing to write home about, base evasion of 20% is decent, but that's it. So what about the limit skills? Boy, that's a very mixed bag. Their cast speed was buffed in the Ivalice Chronicles, so some of them are actually useful, or even borderline broken if you want to go in the crowd control route. But the damage aspect is, let's say, quite problematic to reach noticeable levels. Time for a breakdown. Starting with Braver, a 50 cast speed skill with a single target, that's not a subject of evasion. The problem lies in the damage formula that's only magic attack times 8. Yes, times 8. This thing hits like a wet noodle and deals less damage than normal attack. The only good thing I have to say about it is that it bypasses reaction skills and evasion and gives a little more of the range for Cloud, but it's bad. 2 clock ticks for charge do not change that. Especially if you take a look at Cross Slash, which has a cast speed of 34, so it finishes in 3 clock ticks. But it's an AoE attack that has damage formula of magic attack times 12. It's still on the lower end, but at least it can hit up to 5 targets at once, for better damage than Braver. You can at least try to use this in combat, but most skills from Orlando, Meliadol or Agrias will deal a lot more damage than this, at instant speed at that. Blade Burst and Ascension are both very situational and in most cases bad. While their speed of 25 and 17 translates to 4 and 6 clock ticks respectively, their damage is dependent on HP difference. Blade Burst deals damage only if Cloud is damaged, and Ascension deals damage only if the target is damaged. The second one has some utility on bosses, since there would be easy to reach damage cap. But the first one, well, to have any use from it you need a badly damaged Cloud that can survive charging time to actually cast the skill. Overall, feel free to skip those altogether. Meteor Rain is the first from the large AoE nukes that Cloud has access to. With the basic damage formula of magic attack times 20, we can actually reach some respectable numbers here, and that's a quite big AoE attack. It's a little slow at 17 casting speed and 6 clock ticks, but can be good opening/finishing move if you're paying attention to turn order, or focus on casting speed instead of damage. More on that later. Now it's time for Finishing Touch. This, in my opinion, is Cloud's best skill. While it does not spark joy with big numbers, it can deal with up to 5 enemies at once, regardless of their HP. and with a cast speed of 25, it charges only after 4 clock ticks. It also does not care about your magic attack value, and about Tactician mode damage reduction. The last two skills, unfortunately, do care about that damage nerf. Both Omnislash and Cherry Blossom are slow, powerful, large AoEs. First with the cast speed 15, second with 10. That gives them respectively 7 and 10 clock ticks of casting, which is abysmally slow and borderline useless. There's a workaround, but we'll talk about this later. For now, let's focus on the math. Omnislash has a base formula of magic attack times 30, and Cherry Blossom sports an absurd rate of magic attack times 42. That means with those skills it's very easy to reach damage cap, even with magic attack values that are considered low. This will end our showcase of limit skills. As you can see, there's a potential here, but it requires some work. So let's talk about this a little bit more. I knew that it would be hard to reach some high values in magic attack on Cloud in normal way. So I decided to cheese this thing by abusing JP spillover. The topic is covered in more detail in my video about generic units in FFT, links should pop on the screen somewhere. Nevertheless, my idea was simple. While unlocking all necessary skills and grabbing a few levels in high speed grow jobs, I'll use generic units to unlock both Bard and Mime on Cloud. I've managed to finish that before he even reached level 75. And from here it went straight into abuse of leveling system. Cloud was walking into traps as a Bard until he went down back to level 1. And after that I switched him to Mime and power leveled him to 99 spamming Steel Gill on 3 other characters. The results were very nice, just take a look at that. In his soldier job he has physical attack of 27 and magical attack 13, with 912 HP without any gear. Speed here is only at 11 though. Soldier also have a quite limited selection of gear options, so I once again wandered into Geomancer, which boosted his magic attack to 14, bumped movement to 4, and gave a lot more gear access, at the cost of some HP. In his case, Geomancy is a dead skill set, but I still like this job choice better than Soldier. Now, it's time to talk about the actual loadout. My first build was quite simple. Starting with gear, I borrowed Materia Blade Plus from Beowulf, since he's OP enough even without it, and that with yet another appearance of Aegis Shield gives us a nice +5 bonus to magic attack. Head and armored slots are also quite easy. Lambent Hat and Wizard Robe for additional +3 magical attack and +1 to speed. The accessory of choice this time goes to Septime. Permanent haste effect and +1 magic attack works wonders here. That boosts Cloud combat stats to 23 magical attack and 12 speed, with a 27 physical attack along the way. Skills are also quite straightforward. Our second active one is, of course, Limit. Reaction is occupied by Shirahadori, since even the game itself suggested that to us. And on Tactician we need all we can have to survive that BS damage numbers. I unlocked Bard on Cloud during leveling, so we can slot movement +3 here for even more combat reach. That leaves us with support skill slot. The most intuitive move would be slapping magic boost here, since a bigger number is a better number. And that works quite well. He can solo some enemy configuration on end with this loadout, dealing both damage and CC with finishing touch. But his damage is on the lower end of the acceptable spectrum. So after some testing I decided to focus fully on spamming finishing touch. And that required a small but very impactful change: slotting Swift Spell in the support slot. This nerfs Cloud raw damage by quite a bit, but reduces finishing touch charge time to only 2 clock ticks. This seems to be insignificant, but his ability to steamroll encounters went through the roof, as you can see in the background footage right now. You need to be a little careful, since limit skills can hit friendly targets. All in all, in this version he's now quite okay to use, of course if you know what his gimmick is. And that is not exactly intuitive. He will probably shine much more on Knight and Squire difficulty, since without Tactician damage nerf, his more powerful skills will still pack a big punch, even in Swift Spell variant. But for Tactician gamers, I strongly recommend spamming Finishing Touch on normal enemies, and Ascension on bosses, or just slapping them with Materia Blade Plus, since physical attack value of 27 is perfectly fine for normal attack damage. And that's it for our soldier. Turns out if you put in some work, he can be quite useful even in borderline OP party. Not sure who will be in the next video, but I think I finally got idea how to make Rafa's and Marak unique skills useful, but those will require boring work to break. For now, drop a like, comment and sub to the channel, so my analytics number grow bigger. See ya in the next one.